The way that I know that a partnership has really begun between adult and youth, for me as an adult, it's when I no longer feel in control. And the youth are really taking the reins. Because if I'm in control, then it's not really a partnership. It's a partnership when the youth are telling me what to do as much as I'm telling them what to do.
In terms of youth and adults working together, I think Ed, Marie, and Kenya, for Every Voice, that's like the perfect example. Like, they know when to step in and get us back on track, because we're teenagers, our minds are going to wander like 24/7. But, you know, they know when we're on a roll and they need to step back and say, all right, we need to let go of our instincts to control them and just let them guide the discussion. And I think that's the biggest indicator, if adults know that they have to take a step back.
At Every Voice in Action, through our youth crew, one of the things that we try to focus on is making sure that the youth and the adults are really working in partnership. And in fact, in that case, we see that partnership as having some distinct roles, where the adults bring their expertise as formal grant makers, experienced grant makers, and kind of handle some of the technical elements and pass on the art of grant making to the youth, and then in turn open up the process of doing the grant making to the youth and leaving that completely in their control. So they run through the entire process of creating the grant round, from selecting their topic to reviewing proposals and making the funding decisions. And we as adults are there all the way to provide support and guidance through that process, but they're the decision makers. And so they rely on us for our expertise, our understanding of the nonprofit field, etc., and we rely on them for their expertise of what it means to be a youth and what youth need. So by kind of relying on each other's experiences and skills, we bring that together in a true partnership.
How do we know we're in partnership with adults? I'd say as long as the adults don't have full control of the conversation, so it you know,
equal
and
equal partnership, because that's how it's a true partnership. Both working equally, putting in the same work, putting in the same
thought,
like amount of energy.
Exactly. Yeah. Like everyone have to say something and then go ahead and do it. Just not the adults being control of everything. They give the youth chance to say what they want to say. That's pretty good.
Controlled by both parties.
As long as they're both listening to not just the youth listening to the adults, but the adults listening to the youth and taking in their thoughts and being considerate.
Good communication. That's how you know, like, both parties talking to each other and knowing what, like, everything that's going on, sharing between each other.
Yeah, I think it's also good that sometimes the adults give the youth chance and they just say what they want to say, and then they just give them feedback, which is very good.
Youth-adult partnerships are a critical way, I think, to think about the way we work with youth. Youth-led programs are wonderful at some level, but they can also be very problematic, and I'll give you an example. In Sweden, they create youth centers, and they're wonderful community places potentially, but the rule is you don't have much adult involvement. So adults are supposed to stay hands-off. You know, let it be a youth place, let the youth run it and all that. Sounds great in concept, could be great in practice, but it's the youth or the adults are too far away. It's not a partnership, it's theirs. And what they've discovered with some people who've done studies of it is that in fact it's become relatively counterproductive places for development. That they get taken over by a group of young people who have other motives besides, you know, helping the community or other things, and it becomes a place to reinforce some problem behavior. So getting the balance right so that it's not adult-dominated or youth-dominated is actually a key part of the kind of programs that need to happen in this, what we would describe as the non-formal learning sector. That is, those opportunities that are very intentional. You're trying to accomplish something with young people, help their development, help their learning, but which is balanced between what the youth is able to contribute and what the adult is able to contribute. And actually that relationship is mutually beneficial. The adults in those kind of partnerships are also benefiting. To do that, you have to prepare both the young people and the adults, because it's not the way we typically work in our society. We tend to be either an age-segregated society or an adult-dominated society, depending on the particular issue or way we work. So our larger institutions like schooling and stuff tend to be adult-dominated, and in that adult domination they also maintain a strong sort of age segregation. So your 4th graders are in one place and your 12th graders are in a very different place. And that tends to also work against adult-youth partnerships.
Yeah, I just think that the interaction between adults and youth is such an important thing. And because youth are our future, and we need adults to lead the way, but still we follow and we create our own path for those that are going to be behind us. So the fact that they're sharing between the two is such an important thing.